Buenas tardes, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. This is our first walk in Holyoke, our first awareness walk that we have here in Holyoke. It means a lot to see so many of you here today with us. Not only for me, but for every individual and family that is living with lupus. I want to thank you. I want to thank Enlace de Familias. Where is she? Enlace de Familias for being our physical sponsor. Also the mayor of the city of Holyoke for his donation. As you walk around, you're going to see some stories of 5 women that are from this area. And those stories are going to show you what they go through, their experiences. And the idea of those stories is to share their experiences so we can all get awareness as a community. Lupus affects young women, are as young as the age of 14. It primarily attacks women, women of color, women of Latin descent. So we're here to spread the awareness about the disease. So when our young girls start going to the visits to their doctor, they could look at their visits with a different lens. When we go to the doctor, sometimes we dismiss what they say, and we don't really tell them of our symptoms because we think it's not something major. But for me, it's very important for us to have serious conversations and sincere conversations with our doctors, because that's the individuals that are here to help us understand what's going on through our bodies. So what we are here is more than a walk. It's about awareness. It's about education. It's about support. It's about reminding everybody that's living with lupus that they're not alone. As someone living with lupus, I understand many battles are invisible. On the outside, as someone may look fine, while on the inside, they're managing pain, fatigue, uncertainty, and countless medical appointments. So I want to take a moment and recognize the people who are here with us today. So if you are living with lupus, please raise your hand. If you're a caregiver, a family member, a friend, a healthcare provider, a supporter, please raise your hand. Tu sobrinita. So as you can see, there's many of us in this battle. I want to thank you because this is what community looks like. We also want to take a moment to remember those who are no longer with us. I know someone on Facebook kept mentioning I lost my sister to lupus, and he's a dear friend of mine. So I want to take a moment to honor the strength of those that continue to fight every day. So let's just take a moment of silence for those people that have lost their battle to lupus. Thank you. And now I want to invite the mayor. He has a proclamation that he wants to share.
Before I read the proclamation, should there other folks? Are there other folks on the agenda?
Yeah, your proclamation's first.
Hello, everybody. I'm Joshua Garcia, Mayor of the City of Holyoke, and my wife, Stephanie Garcia. Give it up to Holyoke's First Lady, who has, and also I'm the brother of my little sister, who also has lupus, Naili, who's here today with us. It was really nice to see them work together and coordinate, help organize this very important event. You heard my wife already describe from a perspective of someone who lives with lupus. But for those caregivers, if you're a partner, if you're a brother, if you're a sister, also there's an important role that you all play too. It's not easy. It certainly hasn't been an easy journey for us, but an important one for partners and caregivers to continue to stand by the side with those who suffer from lupus, primarily because it is a very silent disease, one that's not easily treatable. Sometime part of our journey, we weren't sure what was going on. And after all the trials and tribulations and visits, and finally, when we were able to understand what it was, the rest is history. And so I'm going to read here a proclamation. If you give me a minute, it says here, whereas lupus is an unpredictable and misunderstood autoimmune disease that can cause severe damage to the tissue and organs in body, and in some cases death. And whereas more than 5 million people worldwide suffer the devastating effects of this cruel and mysterious disease, and each year over 100,000 young women and men and children around the world are newly diagnosed with lupus, the great majority of whom are women of childbearing age. And whereas medical research efforts into lupus and the discovery of safer, more effective treatments for lupus patients are underfunded in comparison with disease of comparable magnitude and severity. And whereas many physicians worldwide are unaware of symptoms and health effects of lupus, causing people with lupus to suffer for many years before they obtain correct diagnosis and medical treatment. And whereas there is deep unmet need worldwide to educate and support individuals and families affected by lupus, and an urgent need to increase awareness in communities worldwide of the debilitating impact of lupus. Now, therefore, be it resolved, I, Joshua A. Garcia, Mayor of the City of Holyoke, on behalf of all our citizens, do hereby proclaim May 2026 as Lupus Awareness Month in the City of Holyoke, and I join with lupus organizations calling for increases in public and private sector funding for medical research on lupus, targeted education programs for health professionals, patients, and the public, and recognition of lupus as a significant public health issue. I want to call up Lynn Gagnon to just come up and share a few words. Lynn.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Garcia, and also Stephanie for putting together this wonderful and important event. I think it's one of the biggest events so far since I've been diagnosed with lupus. I'm very impressed with how many people are here because, like we've been saying all along, it's not that well known a disease. In fact, there are many more people who have lupus than maybe cancer or some of the other diseases that are so well known and have been studied in the past. When I first got diagnosed, I didn't know anything at all about lupus. I never heard about it. And while I was getting worse and worse in the hospital, I was getting all kinds of tests. And finally, the hospitalist told me that I either have a virus or an autoimmune disease. And all I remember him saying was autoimmune. And I thought, why would I have an autoimmune disease? You know, I've always lived a clean life. So, I mean, how do you get an autoimmune disease? So he told me a few things about it, and I was so sick and so out of it, I couldn't even remember what he told me. But long story short, when I got out of the hospital, I decided to find a support group so I can figure out what's going on with my body. So there was nothing locally. And I found this organization out west that helps people start support groups, and then they send me materials and help me get started. And that's when I decided to start my own support group, and I founded the Pioneer Valley Lupus Support Group. And so now you have a local support group in case anybody needs to know, or if you know somebody that's interested and needs the moral support, I'm the one to talk to, and I have cards here in case you want to contact me about that. Even though there are many drug trials going on and people who are still getting diagnosed with lupus, there still needs to be further study in all areas. And that's why it's important for us to spread awareness, to have events such as this, and to even do it in the most creative way possible, because visual aids are also very important in spreading awareness. You know, so that's kind of what I'm known for, all the visual arts that I do for lupus. And I have ideas for future events, but it's just a little slow getting going because I have to be well enough to do it at times, and it's going to take some more manpower than just one person, but I'm pretty sure it's going to happen soon. So again, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to see the stories of all the other lupus warriors, and I'm always learning. Life is all about learning, and thank you so much, everybody, for being here. It's very pleasing to see how many people care. Thank you very much for the proclamation.
All right. My lupus journey officially began in December 25 of 2023. Well, 13, sorry. After months of testing, medical appointments, and before that, I already had been diagnosed with hypertension and Raynaud's. And I say this because when they first diagnosed me with Raynaud's, it was like, oh, now I see it as like that should have been a flag that something else could have been wrong with my body. And kidney scarring, which I was like, why is my kidney getting scars? Like, I didn't understood that. The interesting thing is that externally, I didn't appear sick. I went to work every day. I took care of the kids. I took care of the house. I took care of my husband. I attributed my exhaustion to being a mom. Mom of twins takes a lot. And being a working mom. And like I said, I attributed all my tiredness to that, not to being sick. What lupus has taught me is the importance of listening to our bodies, especially the young little ones that want to do cheer, track and field, basketball. We want to push our bodies, and I urge you to please make a conscious effort to rest when you need to eat healthier, to protect your peace, to prioritize your health. Even my most difficult days at the hospital, I also found that humor helped me. The doctors and nurses really quickly learned that I always had a joke ready for them. That was the only thing I could do. I couldn't move. So laughter doesn't change the situation, but it helps me find the strength in keeping the positive, keeping forward. Through the walk, you'll find the signs of 5 strong warriors in our community, and also facts about lupus. I encourage you to take the time to read them, to learn more about the disease, and it affects millions of people worldwide. This walk is important because it helps us spread awareness, which leads to understanding. Understanding that leads to support, and support that will change lives. But before we move on to our walk, I do want to invite over the ROTC from Central High School. They're going to do a special presentation for us. The discipline, the teamwork, and the resilience demonstrated by our next guests reflect the same determination shown by so many individuals living with lupus today. Please join me in welcoming the Springfield Central High School ROTC drill team. Yeah, we need to spread a little bit of space for them. If we can move to the perimeter of the area, that would be great. Mommy, you could just. Yeah, they're coming using the space. Thank you again, Springfield Central High School ROTC drill team, for that incredible presentation. I also want to say a big thank you to Naili for helping me spread the word and battling this thing together.
Central alum.
Oh, Central alum, yep.
Central.
So now let's come together to take those first steps and walk in support of everyone affected by lupus. We're going to start a walk right here on my right, your left. And you're going to take one big loop around the park and come over. If you do one loop, that's about 1/4 of a mile. If you do 3 of them, it's about 1.5 miles. So you walk at your own pace. Together we walk for hope, education, awareness, and one day a cure. Please take your time to stop and look for the signs so you can read the story and the facts about lupus. Thank you.